Hello. 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 Hello to the 0 people who are watching this. Hello. I'm live. Streaming from outer space. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this music. If it will listen to me. There we go. Hello people. I'm Stan the Sedine, and this is my first live stream on my channel. And I'm probably gonna get no one watching this because, you know, that's what happens. But yeah, I'm gonna be talking about today the recent episodes of Doctor Who, although I haven't seen Dot and Bubble yet, so I won't be talking about that. But I'll be talking about the first half of the season, and I'll also be talking about MCM Comic Con, which I went to recently, and I will also be doing a non-Doctor Who related mini unboxing thing, if I have the time, which I might not. I need to check that the audio is all good, so give me a second to do so. Yeah, just checking everything. Because, you know, I might be muted right now. I don't know. Let's see this. No, I'm not muted. Oh, wow. This might actually be happening. I mean, you know, no one's watching it, which is fine. But yeah. Welcome to people in the future who are watching this after it's gone live. Right. So, I suppose I'll just start chatting then about Doctor Who stuff. Oh no. No, there's someone in the chat. Oh no. Hello people. Yeah, I'm not muted, which is probably not a good thing. I probably should be muted because no one wants to hear me talk about Doctor Who for the next hour. Right. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about space babies then. I say that as if there's actually more than one person watching this. So blah 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 blah. So Space Babies, it aired on my birthday as on there, blah. So Space Babies, it aired on my birthday along with The Devil's Cord, which was a very nice birthday treat, and I had low hopes for it because I knew what it was going to be, and it was exactly what I was expecting it to be, which was bad. Yeah, I was expecting it to be bad, and it was. Because, you know, it's a simple story. Babies running a spaceship. There's a bogeyman, and everyone's scared of the bogeyman. Yeah, I mean, even on the script, I can imagine it still. I wouldn't have liked it. I mean, it's not for me, but I can understand that other people may like it. Yeah, just not really for me. I did like Ncuti Gatwa in it. He, like ever since the giggle, like he just seems so doctorish. It's weird. He's just very doctorish. Yeah. So yeah, Space Babies, I'd probably give it a 4 or 3 out of 10. It's just it's not for me. But then also on the 11th of May, the what's it called? I've forgotten what it's called. That's odd. I've completely forgotten what the next episode is called. Oh no. The one with the maestro. It's something really simple, isn't it? And I've just completely forgotten it. The Devil's Cord, that's it. The Devil's Cord, which also came out on the 11th of May. I enjoyed way, way, way more than Space Babies. And again, I was expecting to enjoy it way more as well, because I knew Space Babies was going to just be like, a bit childish, and so was The Devil's Chords to a degree. But then it was just a lot more me. I just enjoyed it a lot more. Um, as well as being more serious than Space Babies, it was also actually a lot more stupid than Space Babies, but not in a bad way. I think all the casting in it was great. Jinx Monsoon as the Maestro was phenomenal. And Murray Gold was in it as himself. What more can I ask for? Yeah, and it's an interesting idea, like what would happen to the human race without music. I'm not sure it would lead to what it did in the episode, but it might. I don't know. I don't have the power to remove music and find out. Not that I would if I did, because I love music. um, yeah. So Juicy Gatwa's Doctor was amazing in it again. Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday. I'm not convinced by Ruby Sunday just yet. I mean, I'll talk about 73 Yards when I get to it, but by these first two episodes, she just seems a bit fake. The character, she doesn't seem too real, which is always what I want in a Doctor Who companion. What else is there in The Devil's Chord? Oh yeah, there's always a twist at the end. It's a musical number in a Doctor Who episode. It's not the greatest, but yeah, I mean, it's if it was connected to the episode in more of a way, then I would have enjoyed it a lot more than I actually did. Yeah, so it was the fact that is though that you can just, if you really hate it, you can kind of just pause the episode before it happens because of how detached from the story it actually is. Yeah, so overall I'd give The Devil's Chord like 8 out of 10. I did genuinely really enjoy it, apart from the musical number. And also some of the pacing was a little off as well. I'm going over these very quickly, but I'll chat about them a bit more later probably. What comes next? Next is Boom, and this is one that I was super excited about. Because I love the Moffat era, and it's just so great to have him writing more episodes again. And I was writing the Christmas special as well, and genuinely, just as soon as the episode starts, just the way that everyone's talking, you can tell it's a Moffat script. And yeah, I mean, that kind of says, oh, it's a Moffat script. And if it was like with Moffat, when he's writing stories, if he's just writing one or two a season, they're always going to be phenomenal. And Boom was phenomenal, in my opinion. I know some people don't like it, but I loved it. The idea that the Doctor just can't run, which is what he always does, is just great. And of course, as I say, it's a Moffat script, so you have the Moffat dialogue, which he's great for writing for the Doctor, and for getting that more Time Lord victorious side to the Doctor as well. Which, I mean, I think Russell T Davies does still write that part of the Doctor sometimes, but Moffat kind of just puts it in there, like, I don't know the way to describe it, like more effortlessly than Rusty Davies does. When Rusty Davies writes the Time Lord victorious Doctor, it's always like a big thing. But then when Stephen Moffat puts a Time Lord victorious type of Doctor in there, it's a lot more it's a lot more natural, I think. Yeah, and Ruby Sunday was better in Boom, I think, than the other three that she was in. But still, I wasn't completely convinced. And I should talk about the snow thing, shouldn't I? I am intrigued by the snow thing and Ruby's birth. I'll talk about who I think Ruby's parents are later on. But yeah, I'd rate Boom like probably like a 9 out of 10. I love stories where it starts off in like a bad situation, but then just slowly gets worse and worse and worse, and there's not really anything that anyone can do about it. But yeah, I did really love Boom. What came next? Next is 73 Yards, which I saw it at MCM Comic Con, and I've got to admit, on the first watch, I did not enjoy it that much. I just like I was very confused by what had kind of happened. Like, I got the idea that Ruby had been like put into another timeline or something where the Doctor just vanished because he stepped on the fairy circle. Um, but the bit that confused me was, why was the woman always 73 yards away? Why did she make people run away? And why was she Ruby? These are just like, it's. I get that that's kind of the point of the story, but then at the same time, these are kind of, they could be seen as plot holes, and that's what I saw them as on the first watch. On the second watch, these are still issues with the episode, I think, and I know that they're like deliberate issues, but it's just, it's a bit odd, I think. And of course, a Doctor Light episode in a series which is only 8 episodes long is definitely a brave move, I think. And by the looks of it, the next episode might be Doctor Light as well, which would be very strange. I mean, if they're good episodes, then fine. But as I say, it's only 8 episodes this season, so you need to have like the Doctor in it for enough time for it to actually be Doctor Who, rather than just any other sci-fi show. Because without the Doctor, it's not Doctor Who. It could just be any other sci-fi show, really. Well, it couldn't, but you know what I mean. I bet you do. Yeah. So 73 yards. I'm still not the biggest fan of after watching it twice, but I do really like the bit with, what's his name, Roger Ap Gwilliam. I thought that was done really well, but it could have been given. I think the episode is kind of split into 2, or even into 3. You have the first like kind of horror movie-ish bit with Ruby on her own going to the pub, and everything's very disturbing and creepy, and that's just all to throw you off from what the episode is actually about. Yeah, and then we get the Roger Ap Gwilliam stuff, which is it's my favorite bit of the episode. But then also we get the stuff with old Ruby, which again I do like, but I just think maybe we didn't need the stuff at the beginning with the pub, because also I think that a lot of people really, really liked that bit. So just choose one maybe for the episode, because these episodes are 40 minutes, so it's like a good length, but you can't do a huge amount of stuff in that time. And so maybe having like it all be set in the bar and have really creepy stuff happening, or have it all be going through Ruby's life. Maybe have the beginning bit a bit quicker and then have more stuff to do the political side of the story. I think that just would have made the episode a little bit better. As I say though, why is the woman 73 yards away? I get it so that you can't really see like her face and stuff, but in the story, why is she 73 yards away? I mean, again, it could be explained as all this supernatural stuff that's happening. But yeah, it is just quite confusing for me, at least. Let's see how many people are watching this stream now. Ah, no one. How sad. Well, hopefully people will watch it after it's gone out. I don't know. This may just be destined to never be watched by anyone. But yeah, that's how far I've gotten with the season so far. I haven't seen Dot and Bubble yet. I'm definitely looking forward to it. But yeah, it's a kind of episode that could be phenomenal, I think, or could be absolutely dreadful, depending on how it's done. If they really lean into the creepy aspect of it, because I've seen like the clips and the next time trailer and stuff. If they really lean into the creepiness of it, it could be great. However, though, if they make it like too childish, I guess, it could be terrible. And if you're watching this and you're a Doctor Who fan, you've probably already seen it. So you know the answer to this. Is it really creepy, or is it just childish? Because that's another issue that I have with the season so far, is the first 2 episodes, or the first 3 episodes, if you count the Church on Ruby Road as well, they all seemed very childish. And I thought, okay, I kind of know where the series is heading, and it's going to be more of a childish series, which I'm not against. But then suddenly we have Boom and 73 Yards, which are much darker stories in tone. And so this series seems to be jumping around a bit on what tones it has. And so again, if the next episode is very childish, then that would be another jump in tone. Did I say the next? I don't know what I said there. If the next episode is very childish, it's another jump in tone. But if it's creepy again, then we're starting to stay consistent with the tone. But yeah, the start of the series was very childish. And as I said, that's not necessarily a problem unless they do jump around a lot with the tones, which they have been doing. But yeah, I'm enjoying the season so far. As I say, I do think Ncuti Gatwa is very Doctor-ish. He had, in my opinion, his like defining Doctor moments in Boom. Practically the entire episode is just him delivering dialogue perfectly. But yeah, I would like to see him running down some halls with his 15th Doctor theme playing. Because that hasn't really happened yet, apart from one short scene at the Church on Ruby Road. But yeah, that's what I think of the series so far. I'd probably give it so far like a 6 out of 10, which isn't. I don't dislike it. I do really like it, but it's not as good as it could be. But then I'm not angry at it. Like I think it's just going to get better and better, and it kind of has been. I mean, Boom was a standout, but it is getting better and better, and so I hope next week is good as well, or this week. Dot and Bubble, and then we have Rogue. Or actually, should I do like predictions? I shouldn't I? So Dot and Bubble. I mean, as I say, I've seen the next times and stuff, so I have a good idea of what's going to be happening. As I say, I hope it's creepy, and I hope it leans into that. After that, we have Rogue, which is the one of the series that I was always looking least forward to, because I just don't really like that kind of episode. I never really like shows like Bridgerton and stuff. That I just don't really like. When Doctor Who does historicals, I did really like The Devil's Cord, but I kind of knew that wasn't going to be historical purely, and it really wasn't. Whereas I think this next one, Rogue, is going to be like almost purely historical. What's it called? The Ghost one, back in series 1. And the one with the Carrionites. I've forgotten their names. I'm sorry, I'm not a true Who fan. It's out there now. But yeah. Then we have the final. I'm going to merge the 2 parts into one. We're definitely going to find out who Ruby's parents are. And my theory, and of course this theory has been going around everywhere recently, so I can't say it originates from me, but I think Ruby Sunday's father is the Trickster. And of course the evidence pointing towards this is the old Sarah Jane Adventures story, which never got finished, about what's her name, Skye, I think it was. And in the final series of Sarah Jane Adventures, if you don't know, you probably do, but I'm explaining it anyway, so but in the final series of Sarah Jane Adventures, which was uncompleted, Sarah Jane, I think like Skye gets dropped off on her doorstep or something, and because Luke is also an orphan as well, isn't he? And so she takes Skye in, and I think Skye was supposed to become like really close to Sarah Jane, and then it would be revealed that she was actually the daughter of the Trickster. And I don't know what the story would go from there, but yeah. And so she would like lure Sarah Jane into a dangerous situation or something, I don't know. And I think that could be what's going to happen with Ruby. I think it's very likely. If you don't know, in The Devil's Cord, when the maestro was trying to get the song out of Ruby just before she sang the Carol of the Bells, I think it was, something like that. She sings this song which sounds quite similar to the Trickster's theme from the first Trickster story in the Sarah Jane Adventures. Yeah, it sounds very similar, which, you know, it's not proper evidence. But then I stumbled across something the other day. I was watching a clip from the wedding of Sarah Jane Smith, and when the Doctor confronts the Trickster, he says that he is actually part of the what is it? He says he's part of like the the group of gods. I forgot what you call it. But yeah, he basically confirms that he is part of the group of gods that the maestro and the toy maker are part of. So yeah, that's kind of with the way that this new era is heading. I think that's where it's going. With this more supernatural thing again, the trickster fits into that. The pantheon, that's it. So the trickster basically says he is part of the pantheon. So I think he's going to be Ruby Sunday's father, and Ruby Sunday, without realizing it, is accidentally going to lead the Doctor into a really dangerous situation near the end of part one of the final. I think that's another thing I want to talk about with this 8 episode runtime, is that it doesn't really leave space for a two-parter anywhere other than the final. And the New Who two-parters are always going to be the best of the series for me. Well, not always, but usually, because you just have more time to actually flesh out the story and like do everything that you want to do in it. Whereas in one part stories, it's just it's always a bit of a speed run. Like you go through everything very quickly. I mean, to be honest, I think I would prefer the season more for every episode was a two-parter, apart from maybe like the first 2 episodes to get people into it and then start doing two-parters, maybe. I mean, that's just my thoughts. I'm not the general audience, so I am a big Doctor Who fan, so I'll watch any episode. But I guess with some people, like that, if they watched one bad episode, then they might continue. But then if they watch like a two-parter that's bad, then they might stop because it's 2 episodes, and if they're coming out a week after each other, it might just be like, oh, I don't think it's worth this to keep on watching this darn show Doctor Who if it's not good for 2 episodes or something like that. But yeah, those are my predictions. I do have a couple more, but I can't really think of them right now. But yeah, I'll move on to MCM Comic Con. So at MCM, there was lots of stuff for Whovians this time. I've been going for like a year or two now, and usually there's a little bit of Doctor Who stuff, but this time there's quite a bit more. Of course, there's usually Project Dalek there, and they were there this time, and that's always great because people actually build Daleks by themselves. I tried once, and it went horrifically wrong. I didn't get past the planning stage. But yeah, it's you know, it's just incredible that people can actually like build these things. And there's an awesome Davros which has like this stained glass effect on it, and it's so cool. Yeah, I would love to build a Dalek one day, but I doubt I'll ever have the skill. Um, but yeah, it's always great when Project Dalek's there. This time they had like this Dalek corridor which you could walk down. It had like a destroyed Dalek at the end, which was awesome. Um, what else was there? They scheduled like these Doctor Who cosplay meetup things, which was fun, where you could battle the Daleks. And there was the Forbidden Planet Doctor Who shop, which is always there, at least when I've been going, and they had like so by that point 3 episodes were out, and on each day, because it went on for 3 days, on the first day they had the Space Babies outfits for the Doctor and Ruby, and then on the second day they had the second episode's outfits, and on the third day they had Boom's outfits as well, which was really neat. And I thought that they would have the 15th Doctor's Sonic there to see in person, but they didn't. I guess it could be because they might have actually been filming with it, because I think they were just wrapping up filming when I was there. Not at MCM, they weren't filming there, but they might have actually been using it, so that might be why it wasn't there, or other reasons, I don't know. But yeah, what else was there? Okay, I might as well just talk about the big thing that happened. Basically, there was a screening of 73 Yards, which was really cool, and they had TARDIS popcorn buckets, which I have here. Wonderful. I mean, who wouldn't want a TARDIS popcorn bucket? It's just brilliant. I bet in 5 years' time that's going to be selling for like £2,000 on eBay. And yeah, the screening was super cool. They had a Q&A afterwards with Oh god, I'm gonna have to try and remember people's names. So it had the actress who plays um oh this is the pressure of live streaming getting to me. Kate Stewart, they had her actress, she was there, I've forgotten what her name is. Um and so was the director of the episode, so was the producer, and so was the costume designer for the series. I'm not remembering their names because I have no memory now because of this incident. I don't know where I'm going with that. But yeah, it was very fun to see the episode with like a huge crowd of Whovians. Um, and yeah, the Q&A was very interesting too. What was there anything else? Oh yes, of course. Did I forget this? So the actress who played Janice the Goblin from the Christmas special was there, and I actually bought the Charts from Ruby Road book when I was there, and I actually got it signed by her, which was really neat. Don't know if you're going to be able to see that well, camera. But yeah, that was really cool. And that I think that's about it for MCM. Little Shop Props had a little bit there where you could have a look through the props that they had. They had a very interesting prop from a little known Fourth Doctor story. They had the dodecahedron, as the Fourth Doctor would have said in the story. The story is Meglos. If you haven't seen it, it's actually not that bad. But it's also not that great either. It's not a very good classic Who one to watch, but I like it for some reason because it's got a cactus. I mean, he doesn't like a cactus that's also a doppelganger. But yeah, I've kind of run out of things to talk about now, haven't I? And I've only been live for 30 minutes. I guess I'll do a quick segment on the non-Doctor Who thing. Or should I have a break first? I always like having like a full break. I don't know. Yeah, I might as well do this. This is the last thing that I actually thought of to like do beforehand. So after this, it would just be me rambling. Though I don't know what it's been before that. I think it's just always me rambling. But yeah, I recently got for my birthday Atmosphere, the Third Dimension. This has nothing to do with Doctor Who, and this clip will probably go up on my Atmosphere themed channel, the Atmosphere Collector. And if you don't know what Atmosphere is, it's a really niche board game from the 90s. That's probably all that you need to know to tell you whether you will probably like the channel or not. But yeah, I'm gonna quickly unbox this. It's already been opened. It wasn't brand new. That would be extremely rare to find if it was brand new. Yeah, let's open this up and have a look at what's inside. So this is the quite rare now actually, the PC CD-ROM version of the game. I'm gonna be unable to play it since I don't have like a PC that can actually play it. I don't have a PC at all actually. Yeah, let's have a look at what's inside this thing. This is the content that you're all here for, me struggling to open a box. So inside the box we have an Atmosphere CD-ROM in a CD case, and if I open this up, there is the CD-ROM itself, and this is the cool bit that I will actually be able to use. On the other side of that, we have an audio CD of the Atmosphere soundtrack, which, you know, that's a cool thing, which I can actually use. Oh, which is pretty neat. Oh, yeah, one of the CDs just fell out. No. Back in. Disaster on live stream. CD falls out of its case. Oh, how am I ever going to resolve that? Go back in, you foolish CD. And then also in the box we have an instruction manual which genuinely has the coolest like artwork in an instruction manual for anything that I've ever seen. It's so cool. Like, there's quite a bit of info in there, but like 90% of it is just pictures, which is not a bad thing, because the pictures are awesome. And then the final things that we have in the box are 6 like little character leaflets, one for each character. And each of these has a map and tells you what, because in this game you're racing to get 6 keys before the time runs out, and they tell you what power each key gives you, and the map as well, because it's quite easy to get lost in this game, I think. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you don't know what Answer is, it's interesting. I love it. But yeah, if you like horror that's not really scary and is more funny and is made cheaply, but then also is actually quite interesting, you'll probably like Atmosphere. But I wouldn't try and find this version because it's difficult to find, and then it's also very difficult to find a thing that it will run on. I'm hoping that one day I might get the right PC or something so I can actually play this thing. But until then, I will listen to the audio CD and it will sit proudly on my shelf alongside the Atmosphere card game, which to this day is the rarest thing that I own. Yeah, enough of Atmosphere. I'm gonna have a quick break. I'll be back in a minute. Yep, give me a second to get the break thing up. This is my first ever live stream, so bear with me. Oh yeah, music. Lovely break music. Let's get this going. There we go. gonna actually talk about the next time trailer for Dot and Bubble. Listen, I know it's already out. I haven't seen it yet. I can still theorize about what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do another live stream, like maybe the day after tomorrow or something. And then I can theorize about Rogue after I've actually seen Dot and Bubble, which I'm seeing tomorrow evening. Yeah. It's annoying that I can't see it today, but I can't. Just waiting for YouTube to load so I can get the trailer up. I don't want to go into the Doctor Who YouTube channel because I get spoiled. Oh, I'm just going to do it. Ah! Don't worry, I'll be trying to extremely realistic music quite soon. And I'll face it, there's something even more positive probably. Gone past anything that came out today. Still not loading. Okay. Next time, right, I'm gonna share this screen once it's actually loaded, which it hasn't. I'm live streaming because I'm live streaming. My computer is being extremely slow. It's slow anyway, so it's being even slower. Right, that's that paused. Let's share the screen. Do that one. Then that. And share screen. Share screen. That tab. Share. Okay, is this sharing that? This is the wrong setup, actually. That's more like it. There we go. Let's watch this trailer. I don't know if you're going to get the audio. I just got a message. Well, that's unprofessional of me. Should have put it on Do Not Disturb. But anyway, let's play this trailer. And I'll tell you my thoughts.
It's a glorious
See,
day.
I told you my computer.
Time.
It's barely even loading. This is what live streaming does.
Just look at my close friends. Look how many are missing.
Well, I guess I'm not going to be doing many reactions, I know.
Don't forget to click below.
So, very short next time, but you know, that's what our next time is anyway. Let's have a look. So, I think this definitely has potential, this episode. It's reminding me a lot of the Macra Terror, and the other episode I was hearing people saying it looked similar to was the Happiness Patrol, and I hadn't seen that until yesterday. And I thought I'm going to watch this in preparation for this episode, just in case it is more the Happiness Patrol. And I've got to admit, I did not enjoy the Happiness Patrol. It was... I really liked all the acting. I thought it was... the acting wasn't necessarily good, but it was very fun acting. And... yeah, I mean, the Candyman just isn't threatening at all. I don't know if he's even supposed to be be honest. Um, yeah, and the sets are the worst part of it. Like they're shouldn't have been like actual good lighting in the place where everyone's supposed to be happy. I thought because it just looked really depressing there. And I thought that maybe like if you wanted to make if they went to the effort to paint the TARDIS pink, wouldn't they paint the entire place pink or something like that? Yeah, I didn't enjoy it that much, but I think this looks a lot more like the Macra Terror. That's what I think. Uh, even the slugs. I don't know if they are slugs, but they look like slugs. Like that's similar to the Macra Terror in a way, because you know they're giant crabs. We see a body being dragged away with green ooze being left behind. Is this the blood? I don't know if these people are human or not, or if they're aliens. So maybe their blood is green, or maybe it's like, maybe that's what the slugs do to you. Maybe they turn your blood green. We have this shot of the main. I think it's the main character of the episode with like a bubble around her. I mean, you know, that's the dot and bubble bit, isn't it? It's like it's some sort of social media thing. I know that. And I think the Doctor's going to be like trying to break through and tell her what's really happening. As you can see, if it loads, the Doctor is an unsolicited request. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it has a lot of potential to be a really creepy episode, but whether it will be, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I just want it to be creepy, because Doctor Who is usually at its best when it's creepy. And I think that really suits this new era of the show to be creepy. Oh yeah, so intriguing. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen now because you know there's what's going on. This is live streaming for you. There we go. Is that? Yep, that's worked. I think. I don't know, but I think it has. Hello, Supreme. My one viewer. Yeah. So I think it looks good. But it could be terrible. As with most Doctor episodes, they all look good, but a lot are terrible. Yeah, I'm just kind of rambling now. I've gone over everything that I wanted to talk about, but I'm gonna keep live streaming anyway because you know I don't want to do one that's too short. Yeah, so I'm gonna start talking about some random stuff, I guess. No, I'll talk about more Doctor Who stuff. Who is Ruby Sunday? I mean, I kind of already said. I think she's the Trickster's daughter. Hello, person watching. User 48 could have picked a more original name like Stan the Sardine fan. I think that would have been a better name. You know, spread the word of my channel. Yeah, I'm not necessarily excited for Dot and Bubble. I mean, I know everyone who's gonna watch this, it will already be out. You'll all already have seen it. You'll know whether it's good or not. I might disagree. Who knows? I might say it's phenomenal where everyone says it's terrible, or I might say it's terrible where everyone says it's phenomenal. Because I normally have different views than other people. Ha. Yeah. Let's see. I have a question for myself. Do I think there will be any like classic Who monsters returning in this series? And I think I don't think there will be actually. Other than, well, by classic I mean like classic Who. Like 60s to 90s. I doubt it. Possibly Sutekh, possibly the Gods of Ragnarok. Can you hear my mic? I don't actually know. Can you actually? I don't know if you could actually hear me. I hope you could. Wouldn't be very good if you couldn't. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, well, whatever it is, you can hear me now, right? I mean, there's 0 watching, so I don't know. Oh yeah, it's yeah. I've kind of just lost all the things to say. That break was a bad choice. I've just lost all train of thought. Yeah. Let me look. Oh, I have something interesting to talk about actually. Recently, I got the Daleks in Manhattan Airfix model kit. And I haven't finished it yet. I've still got uh the the normal Dalek to build. I've forgotten what its name is. It's one of the Skaro, but I can show you what I've done so far. So we have the star of the kit. We have Dalek Sec. And I actually mostly painted it with the paints that it comes with because they're good paints. They're Humbrol, and even though it's an old kit, a lot of them were still usable. For the gold inside the casing, I needed to get my own paints for that. But yeah, most of the other paints are actually the ones that the kit came with. I don't know how well the camera's actually going to focus on this. Switch to a large view. There we go. It's a really fun kit. It's confusing because the camera's mirrored. Or I don't know if it is mirrored actually. It's just I've got it placed in an odd way. But yeah, a very fun kit. I haven't painted the eye stalk yet, and the electronics I couldn't be bothered with because it's going to be sitting on a shelf for me to look at. I'm not going to be playing with it. I'm not a child. I don't play with my Doctor Who toys. They were made to be put on a shelf and have dust on them. Definitely not made to be played with. Yeah, and I'm quite pleased with the way I painted it. And then of course my favourite part of the kit is the diorama that it comes with, which I've also done. And it's actually giant. Look at this. And it's actually in line with the character options figures. So, for example, let me grab Ian Chesterton. Oh, yes. Ian Chesterman. There he is. Standing in the Dalek sewers. Yeah, again, like, it was so fun to put together. It was quite simple, this bit. But, yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I'm trying to see if you can actually see that. And it had some decals, like here and here, and on the outside as well. And also it had some, like, timers there. Yeah, it's not going to focus properly. But, yeah, it looks pretty neat. Especially when you put Dalek second there. As I say, as soon as I do the other Dalek, but I'm probably going to wait a bit before I do that because the bronze that this came with is not good to paint with, and I need to try and find an actually accurate Dalek bronze before I paint it because I don't want it to look nothing like the on-screen version. I don't need it to be perfect, but I want it to look good. So if anyone has any suggestions for Dalek paint, please let me know in the comments or in the live chat. But no one's watching this again, so I doubt it. But yeah. Let's think. Have I got anything else to talk about? I could talk about Once and Future in my TARDIS box of tricks. I have the reasonably recent series by Big Finish called Doctor Who Once and Future. And I haven't really spoken about this yet, so I might as well. The first one in the series, it actually came out over a year ago, so I guess it's not that relevant anymore, but still. Doctor Who Once and Future Past Lives. This was the one with Tom Baker and Kate Stewart. And there were a lot of issues with this whole series in general. This first one came without its like case thing, so it was just that. And I didn't notice that it was supposed to come with this in the first place. So I didn't actually know until I got sent this along with the next two. And this got sent about a month late, which I wasn't too annoyed about. But I was hoping they would arrive in time for my birthday, which it definitely did not. The next two arrived at the same time, and these were quite a bit late. And they arrived in their actual cases. And this 5th Doctor one and 7th Doctor one. You can see them there. I'll talk about the actual stories. But I might as well look through this now. From what I can remember, obviously I listened to this over a year ago. I loved the Meddling Monk. I haven't really heard the Big Finish Meddling Monk before, so I didn't know what he was like. But I really liked him. Tom Baker was phenomenal in it. He still sounds exactly like he used to, pretty much. The story was kind of weak, but it was enjoyable. It was kind of like the Star Beast in the 60th. Like, it was enjoyable. But it was nothing extraordinary. Then we have The Artist at the End of Time, which I enjoyed a lot more. It had more substance to the story. And yeah, it was interesting. We had the curator, I think, was in it, and it was all about paintings and the end of the world and stuff. It was a good story. Next up, I really disliked the 7th Doctor one. I was expecting to love it because 7th Doctor and Davros is a great team up. Well, not a team up, like they both hate each other, but yeah, great hero and villain for a story. 7th Doctor and Davros. I think they should work so well against each other. But this was just the most average story I've ever heard. Yeah, just not. It was just kind of nothing. I was very disappointed by that one. But the next one, which I was expecting to be terrible, which also arrived with the Martian Invasion of Planetoid 50. The next one was Two's Company. And I believe that's because, like, this Time Lord, I don't listen to much Big Finish. I believe the 2, which is like a Big Finish Time Lord thing, was in it. So that's probably why it's called Two's Company. But yeah, it was really shockingly very good. I was expecting it to be terrible because it's 6th Doctor, Harry Sullivan, and Jackie Tyler. But, you know, it actually worked. And also Christina De Souza was in it as well. The weirdest team up I've ever heard of. And I do believe the thing that they were just like literally throwing darts at a dartboard of Doctor Who faces. Next up, the Martian Implosion. I did it again. The Martian Implosion. Okay, I'm just going to call it that. The Martian Implosion. This one was good. I love the adaptation. In fact, I have it on 3D right here. The musical version of the War of the Worlds. It's actually really good. I used to hate it, but now I love it. But yeah, this was good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was just good. I liked Strax. I always liked Strax. The next one, I forget if the next two arrived together. I think they did. And so this brings us up to date with these two. Time Lord Immemorial. This one, I genuinely can't remember what. Oh, this was a Sandman one. Yes. Disappointing, but not as bad as the 7th Doctor one. Because I don't know two of the characters that were in it. I think one's like a good Missy, or good Master or whatever. Which I don't really like. I liked Missy kind of becoming good, but then saying no, that's just not really who I am in the end, is it? And so she just goes back to being evil. I liked that. she tried to be good, and she honestly tried, but she just couldn't. And this one actually is good, I think, which I don't really like that much. Like, the Master's evil. Master's never gonna be good. Yeah, it was fine. And then the final one, the thing that really saved this one for me was all the different Doctors having cameos at the end. I really, really liked that. I don't actually remember that much of the story. I can remember enjoying it. It was one of the more enjoyable ones of the set. And of course we have Susan in it, which is great. I love Susan. Yeah, it was good. And it was weird though. It kind of ended the series, but there's still one story left, which is odd. One part left, which is actually coming out in November this year. And I pre-ordered the entire set as like a bundle. I got it for my birthday a year or two back. And so yeah, each of these has a little poster in it. I'm not going to get them all out. I'll just get out like one to show you. I'll get out this one. This is the one for the most recent one, Time Lord Immemorial. Oh no, this is the Union, sorry. The light's a little bit too bright. Try to get this actually on camera. So yeah, it's a neat poster. Yeah, I forgot whether the song and the Fourth Doctor were in that. Oh no, I remember it. I can barely remember it. Yeah, it was enjoyable. Yeah, the biggest issue with this set was that there was literally no like overarching plot. There were just a few very weak plot threads that held the series together, and that to me was its biggest downfall. Like, it was too simple. It needs to be more complicated. And I get, like, if you're doing an audio story, you maybe need to make it more simple than if you're showing it on screen, because if you're doing it on screen, you can show more, and on audio, you need to tell more, obviously, because you can't see on audio. Unless you have a good enough imagination, which I do, I'll have you know. Although I don't, like, actually see things when I listen to audio, so that'll be hallucinating, which I do not. It's back in there. Definitely nice things to own. And you know what? Since I'm talking about Big Finish, I'm also going to talk about the Big Finish Star Beast and comic book adaptations, which, in my opinion, I haven't listened to much Big Finish, but this box set right here is the best thing Big Finish have ever produced. That is what I'm saying. Genuinely the best thing Big Finish has ever produced. I'm repeating it because it's supposed to be like a big thing that I'm saying it. Genuinely. I love this box set so much. There's two stories in it, the Star Beast and the Iron Legion. The first, no, not the first two stories of the comics. The Iron Legion was the first story of the comics, but the Star Beast came a little bit later. And of course, everyone now knows the Star Beast, but when I got this, it was an extremely difficult to know story. Like, barely anyone knew who Beat the Meat was apart from me. And I loved Beat the Meat, but if you had have said to me, like, before the Beat the Meat leaks came out, Stanley, what Doctor Who what Doctor Who story that hasn't been shown on screen would you like to be turned into a TV adaptation? I would have told you the Star Beast. So that story is kind of like a dream of mine. I think Rusty Devs read my mind and said, okay, right, we're going to do this. This is a good idea. But yeah, genuinely, the stories in this are so fun. And I know I was saying earlier on, I think Doctor Who's really good when it's creepy. But this is a perfect example of how to do Doctor Who being fun, but do it well. Like, whoever wrote these, get them on the show. I mean, I know they're based off comics, but still, they did them so well. Yeah, please, Alan Barnes, you should be hired for the new series of Doctor Who. Let's put that back in the box. The TARDIS. That is my extremely rare TARDIS, by the way. It used to. I think it was supposed to like actually hold a phone or something. And originally, this was like one large door that you would open and it would all be revealed. But it got modified into two doors, and although they open outwards, it's still awesome. But yeah, Big Finish is good, but it's not that good. You know, that they've made some great stories, but also they're very difficult to keep up with. Because there's just so many. Like every month they release like 10 or something. I'm probably over exaggerating on that, but they do release a lot and they are quite expensive. Yeah. I think I'm gonna be ending the stream soon. I haven't got that much. Well, I've got nothing left to say really. I'm just gonna keep talking until it ends. I'll show you something that I made recently actually. I had a like Halloween what's it called? A Halloween like projector thing. And it was like this little bulb and it span and had this like cut out in it of like skeletons in a graveyard. And it had these flashing lights and I thought, ooh, that looks like a jar that a brain could go in. And so I decided to turn it into a jar that a brain could go in. It's a jar for a very small brain, but some people do have very small brains. So I thought, perfect. So I'm going to show you that now. It does have lights. Doesn't have sounds, but I'm hoping to add them at some point. If I can get the plug actually near enough to me so I can actually show you. Oh no, I'm going to have to turn on my light for a minute. Sorry if it's suddenly become a little bit darker, but you know, anything for the brain, eh? Oh, please reach. Please reach. Yeah, I tell you what. I might just lower the camera. It's a brain. It's alive. It's alive. And are you ready for the lights, the cameras, and the action? Whoa. And guess what? It can even speak. Hello, viewers of the internet. I am a brain. Now that is a cool brain if you ask me. And it can be battery powered as well. But I just don't have any dollies right now. But in a future live stream, I'll probably just have that in the background. Yeah. It was actually extremely fun to make. It's the most fun I've had making something in a long time. Yeah, brain in a jar. Who doesn't like a good old brain in a jar? Alright, let's get the camera back there. And I'll get my light back on. There we go. I don't think it actually makes much of a difference, that light. Still. Tell you what, since I'm just showing stuff that I've made, I'll show you another thing that I've made. Why not? If you've ever seen the movie Little Shop of Horrors, you'll know what this is. It is an Audrey 2 in a Heinz baked beans oversized tin. And not only that, it's actually a puppet. Whoa, its mouth doesn't open. I wish it did. But that's too complicated for me to do. Its head turns, and if you feed it blood, if you've seen the film, you know what happens. Whoa, it grows. And not only that, also, if you don't feed it blood, its leaves wilt. Whoa, that's high tech if you ask me. Whoa. And also if you place it down, it will magically wow. That's brilliant, that is. Maybe you can see it. There you go, you can see that. I'll put the brain in a jar. I don't know why I'm still live streaming at this point. I've totally stopped talking about Doctor Who. But you know, it's my first live stream. It's fine. It's my channel anyway. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've got something to talk about actually. Let's talk about the random different releases of the 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver. Let me go mine. Give me a minute. So, was it about a year ago? No, it was like a couple of months ago, last year. A couple of months. Oh, I forget when it was. They released a 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, and it had this really, really neat chrome plating. Sorry, this may be a little bit loud for the mic. And yeah, it's super cool. And this was the limited edition version. And they later released a version that didn't have this finish, and also this version actually has different color settings, which the standard version doesn't have. Quite recently, Forbidden Planet have announced that they're releasing a new variant, which is for some reason gold, and I just don't really understand this, because this makes sense to me because it's silver and it's shiny. The matte version makes sense to me because it's silver. It's not so shiny, but they're both similar to the one in the show. Why on earth would you make a gold version other than because this sold really well? It's just another thing to put limited edition on and have all the Whovians spend all their money on it. Yeah, I mean, I don't really get it. I'm not going to get it. Although I know people who are going to get it. And, yeah, it's cool. But also, if you're going to make it gold, they just made the bits that are chrome on this, they just made them gold. If the whole thing was gold, I would kind of get it. But it's not, it's just some of it. Like, yeah. This just turned into a me complaining stream, hasn't it? Yeah, it's fine, I guess. Why am I complaining about it? I'm not forced to get it, I guess. Yeah. Well, this stream will probably be ending soon because I can't really think of anything else that's Who related to talk about. I've already spoken about enough non-Who related things anyway. I'm probably going to be uploading a few clips of this to the main YouTube channel, so thank you in advance if you decide to watch them. Someone has just come into the room. Hang on, I'm going to mute this for a second. Sorry about that. Someone just walked through. Didn't want to accidentally show who they are when they don't want to be on YouTube. I don't know if they do, but, you know, it's up to them, not me. But yeah, I'm going to be wrapping this up now. To the 0 people, thank you for watching. I'm going to keep on doing these until I start to get views on them. Because it would be great to have like a live chat to interact with and have questions and stuff near this part of the stream where I'm just ranting about random stuff. But yeah, this has been very fun actually. Weirdly fun. Like, it's just me talking to a camera for ages, which is what I do in a normal video, but it's kind of funner. I don't know what it is. But yeah. It's been very fun. So thank you, 0 people. And that's the wrong song, isn't it? I don't want to maybe do because I don't have money. It's copyright on. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for watching this. I don't know why I keep saying that. I've been Stanley, I've been Sabine, I will see you next time. Bye.
Also, one last thing, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you, see you next time.